Yeah, I'm from Israel, but
Oh,
I'm planning to go work in Canada. So yeah.
okay, great decision about future plans. Okay, maybe we can start because I've been waiting already for 15 minutes, so maybe they are not going to join us today. So let me tell you that today it's prior to the last seminar, which means that we are finishing next Friday. So altogether, it's been 15 weeks, which is about 3 months or maybe even more. And so during these 3 months, actually, I tried to give you an important information. I will just respond this call quickly, and then we will start.
Yeah, all good.
Okay, I'm back, and let's start. So I had a call from clinic, and so that's why I had to answer. Okay, so as I said, today I decided to let's say make something entertaining for you, because all these Fridays we have been discussing about nutrition in that condition, this condition. So you probably I will send you the presentations together, and before finals, it will be good if you take glance on all presentations. So of course the questions I try to not to make very difficult, but still it will be nice to just outline the most important points and just take glance on them. So of course I will send all presentations together, including this one. But this is more, as I said, entertaining. But I think that it is not less important than the others which we have discussed recently. Okay, so I think that my screen is visible, and so just one second. So actually, the topic of our presentation today is myth or reality. Yeah. So as I said some couple of minutes ago, there are a lot of myths and wrong ideas about the nutrition, not just in our countries, but maybe worldwide, even in very developed countries like United States and some Western European countries. People they do believe some not really intelligent ideas about nutrition. So that's why it is very nice to destroy those myths. Yeah. So in the following slide, actually, that's why I wanted your microphone to be working. And why? Because now you will see. So actually, I tried to collect more than it's about 10 or 15 stereotypes or myths. And so I give you just 1 or maybe 2 minutes, and I want you to just share your opinion. Which one do you think is true, correct, and which is not correct. So can you take just glance on these statements and after 1 or 2 minutes, please tell me that. Okay?
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I think I can start right away to say which one is correct or false.
Okay. So okay. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the first one is carbs make you gain weight. I mean,
Uh-huh.
extra carbs are stored
Mm-hmm.
as collagen, I think, so in the body. So, but they can
Which one?
actually
Glycogen. Glycogen. Mm-hmm.
glycogen. I mean, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know if that can make you actually fat, like actual adipose tissues, but
Mm-hmm.
I will say no to that. They can just store
Mm-hmm.
energy. Yeah.
Okay.
The second one, high fat foods are unhealthy. I mean, there is some foods like fish which are high in fat, but they are good fats. So I will say no to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the next one is breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I mean, I guess we discussed a while ago about this, and I
Mm-hmm.
actually believe it. Yeah, I will say it's
Mm-hmm.
correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next one is non-nutritive sweeteners are healthy. I will not agree with that because I read a lot of articles about the like
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy sides of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they can actually make some damage. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. White potatoes are unhealthy. I don't agree with that. There's a lot of good carbs like starch
Mm-hmm.
in them. So yeah. Supplements are a waste of money. I don't believe that's correct because actually I use some of them myself. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Following a very low calorie diet is the best way to lose weight. Actually, I don't agree with this one also because it doesn't like it matters how much calories you take
Mm-hmm.
in, but it also matters what type of like nutrients and
Mm-hmm.
food
Nutrients.
you eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next one, you have to be skinny to be healthy. I mean, not really. Being skinny can lead like super skinny to like disorders, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
anorexia, and that's obviously like bad. You
Mm-hmm.
should just eat healthy and check yourself, check your diet. Calcium supplements are necessary for bone health. I mean, that's correct. Yeah, they have
Mm-hmm.
a very important function. So
Okay.
yeah, all smoothies and juices are healthy. I will say that's not correct. There is a lot of even like fruity smoothies which have a lot of added sugar to them, or
Mm-hmm.
just like the fruits in themselves, they have a lot of like fructose. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should eat it in good quantities. So, yeah. Uh, Tracking calories and macros is necessary for weight loss. I
Mm-hmm.
agree with this one. Yeah, I agree with this one. Definitely, calories matter, and also and macronutrients. So, yeah, high cholesterol foods are unhealthy. I mean, this one it depends on the type of cholesterol. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it depends
Okay.
on what you eat. Eating
Mm-hmm.
disorders only affects women. I mean, most of them, I guess you said about 90% of female had them, but there is some like odd situation where it's like a male can get them. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So thank you very much, Abed. By the way, I'm pleased to hear your opinions and answers about those statements because, of course, mostly you are absolutely correct. and logical. So let's just sum up. I would say that yeah, you said about one or two statements that maybe it's correct, but at last, so all these statements are actually myths, and we will explain. I try to be, of course, very brief because it's about 15. Statements, and I'll try to outline the most important part about why this statement is not correct. Okay, so let's start now. So but yeah, I think that you are absolutely right about most of the things, which is very nice to hear. So yes, you already said about that. So I don't think that I will say anything new today. But maybe there will be some slides on which I will tell you a little novelty. But regarding the fact that we have been discussing on some lectures, you were present on some lectures, others were present, yeah. But you already know what the carbs or other macronutrients are, yeah. And so it was said that it makes you gain weight. Of course, no, it does not. So of course, if we are talking about simple carbs, which is fructose, glucose, galactose, yeah, for example, or any others, we can simply say that it is true. But generally, carbs, which are also glycogen, which you mentioned, yeah, a couple of minutes ago, which is also starch, and so fiber and cellulose and so on, they are very, very healthy products, and it is always nice to intake carbs. Unless we intake carbs, there will be a carbs deficiency, and at last we will have chronic fatigue syndrome, because we need carbs for energy and not just energy, yeah. So I would say that not intaking enough carbs can even lead to obesity. So that's why intaking those fiber enriched products, which we see on the right side of the picture. So we see what lentils, banana, and any other fruits and vegetables and nuts, yeah. So of course it's not the whole list here, it's just little part, but still of course those products, they actually do the opposite. They help us to lose weight, but it depends what quantity we intake. So they never harm us if we intake them in adequate rational quantity and portions. So of course it's a myth. So a low carb diet is the best way to lose weight. So why it's not true? Because so it's actually the continuation of the first statement, yeah. So we already said that we have the right carbs, so-called right carbs, which are complex carbohydrates, and simple carbs, which are wrong carbs, found in pastry and in bread and so on. And of course, so I forgot to mention oatmeal and brown rice, which is already said in this slide, and whole grain products like whole grain bread, which is, by the way, very expensive. Yeah. So not every person can afford that types of products. So brown rice is also very expensive. And why? Because it contains very, very healthy carbs, which we call fiber. And you probably remember from the past presentations, I have mentioned it million times, that fiber is very nice for intestinal and peristaltic. So the one who suffers from constipation or metabolism problems, he or she should definitely provide their body with fibers and vitamins and antioxidants, which are found in the products which we said are considered to be right carbs. Yeah, so then there was third statement here about fat-free products, that they are considered to be healthy. I don't know why, and I don't know who declared about that, but all I can say that it is not true. It's not complete. Um, it's not correct. And why? Because actually we need fat, we need cholesterol for the producing of
building
Very
hormones. Yeah, maybe.
exactly. So sex hormones, which are testosterone, you know that, yeah, estrogen, progesterone. That is why there are some girls and even boys who are working out in gym, and they just think that intaking proteins is the best way here to lose weight and to, shape out their muscles. And maybe they are correct, but for a very little period. If they continue to restrict fat, of course, in this case, they will have problems, hormonal disturbances later on. So, you said that we have healthy fats, and I totally agree, of course, with you. And that would be what? Avocado, for example, which has become very popular product, by the way, and fish and nuts and olive oil, and so on. Those are considered to be healthy, I mean unsaturated fats, and we have to provide our body with fat. And it's not just sex hormones, but it's also the membrane of the cell, the wall of the cell, sorry, which is presented by phospholipids, which means also another type of fat. So, of course, in this case, we do need fat. So again, that would be probably continuation of what I have just said, but always try to persuade our patients who probably think that it's only protein or carb enriched diet which is healthy, but intaking all macronutrients, I mean fats and cholesterol, of course, and proteins and carbohydrates make our lifestyle healthy. So if we restrict either of them, it already means we are not treating ourselves unhealthy. So that is why, again and again, we said that there are lots of misconceptions about cholesterol, and we have to, destroy those stereotypes in our patients. But I would say that there are not just patients who believe that. There are some doctors even who think that we have to restrict cholesterol totally. But no, we don't. We don't, because actually, sometimes it is believed that cholesterol enriched products sometimes boost our metabolism. Yeah, so that is why it is important to intake them. So then there was one statement. I think it's not was not mentioned on the first slide, but obviously it is a myth. So it is said that only people who suffer from high blood pressure, arterial hypertension, those are the only people who should limit this sodium. Of course, that is not correct. So let me tell you that maximum intake of sodium is 6 grams per day, which is 1 tablespoon, nearly 1 tablespoon, a little bit even more. So, but I'm not sure what happens in your country, but in my country, Georgia, so the housewives and just women or even men who are cooking, yeah, they just don't, sometimes even don't taste the food and the meal, and they just automatically pour the salt on the meal. So this is not correct. This is absolutely unhealthy habit, which we have to just, destroy and forget. And unfortunately, it's not just salt, which is the source of the sodium, but it's all canned products. And that could be what? That could be even pickled vegetables, especially pickled cucumbers, which is very, very popular. Those are already produced sauces, which is maybe soy or barbecue sauce or tomato sauce or ketchup or mustard. They all contain sodium. So that is why I always try to, tell your patients who suffer from arterial hypertension that be careful with canned goods, because all of them, they contain sodium.
Why, excuse me, why can't stop though? Why do they have a lot of sodium?
So why is sodium dangerous? Yeah, that's your question.
No, I wanted to know like why do they put like a lot of sodium,
Ah,
especially in canned food? Yeah.
because it is important to maintain the shape and consistency of the food. So if sugar and salt is added to products, you can keep this product for a longer time. So that's why they don't probably think about the health, these people who produce these products, but they think about the products which should stay which should yeah, survive longer time. That's why they add sodium.
Yeah, I get it. I think that's why canned food usually have a very long shelf time. So yeah.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And drinking fruit juice is good way to increase fruit in our diet. So I'm sure you will not agree with that, and I don't agree with that definitely as well, because the all juices which are sold in supermarkets, they all contain maybe everything except fruit. Yeah, so they don't probably contain sodium, but they contain glucose or even cheaper fructose and different substances, and little portion of fruit is there as well. And that is why I would never recommend my patient who suffers from obesity, arterial hypertension and diabetes to drink fruit juice, because it will only harm their health than it will just do the good. And plus, sometimes we in the summertime, sometimes it's probably good idea to have just one drink of fresh fruit juice. Fresh juices, they are okay if they're squeezed and just chopped in front of you, and if there is no sugar added there. But the most of the fruit juices which are sold in markets, they are not good at all. So you already said about that, and I will add that no nutritive sweeteners, they are healthy. Of course, they are not. And I will tell you more that there was one interesting study which said that some sweeteners, they actually help to have the weight gain. So they don't really help to lose weight. And the ones who already have the problem with obesity, if they intake too much sweeteners, it will make it worse, it even worse. So the ones who don't have any problems with weight, if our BMI is less than 25, these sweeteners do not harm a lot. But the ones who have abdominal obesity, which means that visceral obesity is there, visceral fat is there, liver is covered by fat, those sweeteners are very unhealthy because they induce adipose hepatosis, which is inflammation in the liver because of too much fat. And breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Actually, it sounds to be correct, and partially, let me tell you that I do agree with that. But there were some other study which said that it is not actually always true, and it's said that today probably you know that intermittent fasting is very popular, and some people don't eat anything until 11 or 12 a.m. And some studies and some experts do believe that if you skip this little breakfast at 8 and 9 a.m., it will not harm you at all. Plus, they say that moreover, it will help you to lose weight. So I don't really agree that we have to skip breakfast. I totally don't agree with that. But probably I would agree with having late breakfast, because this intermittent fasting time, if it's longer than 16 hours, it works good. But actually, it is very hard to maintain, for example, 18 hours intermittent fasting, because we get really hungry. But if one can do that, why not? But again, I'm just saying that never ever skip breakfast. Okay, make it at 12, but don't skip it, because we know that intermittent fasting, on the other hand, has very nice effects, and it actually reduces inflammatory markers and blood sugar levels. So more or less, if the patient has diabetes, he has to eat at 9 or 10. Otherwise, late breakfast is okay. White potatoes are unhealthy, and actually, of course, it's not correct. Why? Because then there is fiber and potassium there. Yes, we have starch, but who said that starch is bad? We say that too much starch is bad, but not the necessary portion and dosage of starch. So it's good, and it's, and we already said, yeah, alongside with fiber, starch is very healthy. So we should never label potatoes as unhealthy products. I would say that one time it even survived the world from starvation, and that is why I really do respect that vegetable. And I think that it's not my opinion, of course, it's international recommendation about intake of potatoes. So every single day we are allowed to eat 2 potatoes, not more. So if we don't want to have the weight gain after a while. So I actually do permit my patients who even have diabetes to eat 2 potatoes per day. So no problem. But of course, they should not be accompanied with bread or any other carbohydrates.
I mean,
So, mhm,
it also depends on the way you prepare it, you cook
of
it. So
course.
yeah,
Of course, sure. So grilled potatoes are very good. So if you don't use too much oil and you don't deep fry them, of course everything will be fine. But actually, honestly, I do love these French fries, and I always try to avoid eating that because it's very, very unhealthy, but still I do love them. So sometimes our preferences should disappear, and we have to think about what is healthy, especially if we suffer from obesity and some other problems. And yes, we already said about following a low calorie diet, which is the best way to lose weight. No, it's not. Low calorie diet is probably good, as you said. I will repeat your words in this case, but it depends what we eat. Yeah. So low calorie diet with only probably fats, which we call a ketogenic diet or protein diet, for a little while, yes. But if we continue to eat 800 calories per day, yes, we will have weight loss. But at last, this patient, not we, but the patient who does that, will probably reach pre-syncope and then syncope. So for a little moment, yes, but not longer time. And you have to be skinny to be healthy. Of course not. And so actually, yes, obesity is associated with all the things which is said in this slide, which is depression, heart disease, diabetes, and at last maybe that death. But anorexia and being too skinny is even worse. So even that one is associated with all that. And I would say that personally I prefer working with obese patient than with anorexic and too skinny patient, because both of them's health is not good maybe, and I have to improve them with specific nutritional plan. But obese people, they are normal people. Most of them, not maybe all, but all the anorexic people, most of them are not mentally healthy. That is why unfortunately, being skinny does not mean that we are healthy mentally or physically. And still, reducing this disease risk does not mean to be skinny. And actually, I was surprised to see that calcium supplements are not really necessary for bone health until the age 55. 50, 55. So, I mean, the menopause. Until menopause, it's always better idea to provide our body with dietary sources of calcium. And in the third bullet, you have the food sources of that. That would be what? That would be broccoli, special nuts and different seeds, and dairy products, yeah, so which is yogurt and milk and cottage cheese, sour cream, and so on, and so on. So better to provide ourselves with calcium supplement, calcium nutrients than calcium supplements. All smoothies or juices are healthy. No, they are not. Depends on what we put inside. Some people put fructose and rich products there. It cannot be nice. It never can be nice. So it depends on what we just put there. And tracking calories is necessary for weight loss. For a little while, yes, but actually it makes you to get obsessed over the calorie intake. So I have one patient who actually tracks her calories, and yes, we have nice result there, but I see that it she is gradually her mental health is gradually worsening. And so some studies said that tracking calories can increase the risk of anorexia and bulimia. So why should we do that? Maybe doing for 1 month or two, okay, but not for long term. So eating disorders only affect women. We said that it's not correct. Of course, just little portion of men are also influenced by this problem. And supplements are waste of money. Again, depends. There are more than 50 supplements, so who knows? So I would say that my favorite supplements, for example, are omega-3, vitamin D, magnesium, B vitamins. They are definitely not a waste of money. But yes, there are some plant-based so-called losing medications which are considered to be very nice, but they do not work. So actually it very much depends on what supplements are we talking about. And I'm not sure what happens in your country, but in my country, most of men, not women, but men think that drinking 1 glass of red wine, so in our country it's sapera, which is very popular, is necessary for maintaining good health. So if we have obesity and diabetes, of course not. It is not correct. But if it's just it happens maybe once or twice, okay, maybe 3 times a week, just 1 glass of red wine will not harm. But again, I'm saying that we do it constantly, at last it will lead us to weight gain because it's very caloric, by the way. And we are already approaching the finish line of our myth. So genetically modified products, which are GMO, food is always bad. Some people say that. It's not correct. So actually, first genetical modification was created in order to improve the quality of the food. Yeah, but then some manufacturers used this. In very not nice terms, and they decide to increase quantity and not quality of the product. So in this case, of course, genetical modification of product got worse, and today it is considered to be very unhealthy thing. But again, I'm saying at first it was never considered to be unhealthy. It was a healthy thing. But again, then some people, they just, and actually, that was the very last slide of my presentation. And I wanted you also, if you have some additional myths and stereotypes which are related to nutrition, so can you provide me with some myths which are maybe popular in your country?
I mean, I don't think I have now a lot of myths after like now I read a bit more. Uh, but I read a lot about like a type of diet, which is like I watched for a professor at a different university who's called Jordan Peterson. about like his diet of eating just beef and salt and water. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, what do you think about it? Like, it shows a lot of good results, and most of
Which
the
one can you
cholesterol.
repeat? Can you repeat one more time?
I mean, he said he followed the diet, like, and he arrived at a point where he just eats like beef and drink water and a
Uh-huh.
bit of sodium and like different vitamin supplements. So yeah,
Uh-huh. So this person is saying that we have to restrict meat products, or what exactly he says?
he's saying that his health has really like got really better, and he showed like a lot of blood tests and like clinical exams and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, and a lot
Actually,
of.
I cannot really comment on that because I don't know specifically what he did and what he studied. So if you have any link by the way about this, what you have just said, you can just mail me, and I will see more detailed what this study is about.
Yeah, of course.
If
I'll
you
send you a
find this
couple of
link.
links. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. With pleasure. Okay, thank you, Abad. And actually, I already said, but I will repeat that today that was 14th seminar or lecture in our yeah, nutrition course. And so we will finish next Friday. So next Friday, I will try to sum up more or less everything which we tried to discuss during those 14 weeks. Okay, so thank you and bye bye.
Professor, doctor,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you if you know anything about like the final exam date.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do not have that information myself. So I think that administration will let you know about this soon. I think it will be somewhere nearby 20 July, somewhere nearby, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, bye bye.
Yeah, have a good day. Bye bye.